Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here in Hollywood, California. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you guys joining us here as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, and all sorts of good stuff. And, of course, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood when Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett is here to join us. Robert, how you doing?
John, the angels are weeping in the City of Angels today because Star Trek Discovery Season 2 starts tonight.
Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious. You and I disagree heavily on this show.
I'm going to watch, though.
I don't know. I don't know if Season 2 is going to be good, but I really did like Season 1, and I was surprised. I was totally surprised. Not surprised you didn't, because I watched it, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised I like this. But boy, Robert's not going to like this. I remember watching that. Also joining us, of course, is Ashley Whalen. Ashley, how you doing?
Hello, good morning. I'm doing great. Thank you.
You didn't get waterlogged on the way here? You didn't get washed away?
I mean, almost. There was some massive flooding right around my house, but I made it.
In Los Angeles right now, there is, I think, more rain in the past 72 hours than I ever remember having in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Now, that's fine, because usually 362 days of the year, it's just sunshine and no rain. But believe me, this state needs rain. Listen, guys, we got to get moving here because we got a whole ton of stuff to talk about here today. And we're going to go off the top with this. Just dropped about 30 minutes ago, the first trailer for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum dropped. Robert, we just sat here and just watched it just a couple of minutes ago. Your first reactions to this trailer?
You know, there's just so much goodness in that trailer. I got one word for you. Swords.
Yes.
Swords with motorcycle riders.
Yeah.
That's all I need. That's all I really need from any movie.
It's a perfect John Wick trailer. I mean, it's not a perfect trailer, period, but it's a perfect John Wick trailer. Right from the moment, I think I could audibly hear you and I both gasp at the same time when the motorcycles are chasing Wick, and all of a sudden, they all pull out the swords. I wanted to just stand up and just do this, and then also would not work in a lot of other movies, but in a trailer for John Wick, it's perfect. Two dogs going after the guys at the same time, leaping through the air, while John Wick is shooting at the dudes at the same time.
That's
absolutely perfect. The whole Continental thing. Obviously, this picks up right at the end of John Wick Chapter 2. The action looks heavy. It doesn't look like it's not a complex movie. It doesn't look like it's going to be a complicated movie at all.
How does he get out to the desert?
Well,
I want to know.
That's the thing. He's pulling an Aquaman. And Mara, all of a sudden he's walking through, and what I loved about that shot of him in the desert is that he's still wearing the damn suit. He's in a black suit and tie walking through the Sahara Desert. That was crazy to me.
What every well-dressed man wears to the Sahara Desert.
And by the way, they give us glimpses of a lot of the people in there. We got Lawrence Fishburne pops up in there, and then a great reveal of Halle Berry as well.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, still looks like she's 32, which is just like crazy. And
we were just talking about it the other day. I wanted the Jinx
right.
Bond spinoff movie. This is the closest, next best thing, I think.
It could be close. Now, I got to wonder, how simple is the movie going to be? Is it really just going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes? And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Is it going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes of literally him on the run, killing fools as he goes? Or is that just kind of the capsule of the movie, and then some different type of storyline unfolds as the movie goes? It'll be interesting to see. At 2 hours and 20 minutes, I'm going to guess something a little bit more complicated, but again, we'll get into the runtime a little bit later. But yeah, oh my gosh.
I'm ready.
It's and it's hard to think about this. Before John Wick came along, Keanu Reeves's shine had kind of diminished since the Matrix days, right?
Yeah.
It was like he just was starting to appear in a lot of throwaway dumpster movies and whatever, and then John Wick came along. That also looked like on the surface like a throwaway dumpster movie, and turned out just blowing all of our minds. Incredible, and they carried it through with number 2, and it looks like they're going to do the same with number 3.
Well, it's kind of like what happened with the Matrix. Keanu Reeves was not, and people were.
Keanu Reeves.
He was in like Johnny Mnemonic, that was directed by Robert Longo, the artist, and it didn't do much. And people were like I even went into the Matrix going, what I went to a screening on the Warner Brothers lot. I was like, why are they screening this? I know it's a Warner Brothers movie, but why are they screening it in the beautiful Steve Ross Theater? And I left the Matrix with my jaw hanging open.
Oh, all of us did.
Like, oh my! And I kind of felt that way about John Wick 1. Like when I saw John Wick 1, I was like, wow, that was fun. So I'm looking forward to John Wick 3.
Totally new approach to action and everything in a modern era. It was great. And I think this trailer looks fantastic. Cannot wait for this movie to get here. And you know what? This is one of those. I don't think this needs another trailer. I mean, that trailer basically has it all. I
Yeah.
don't think you need another one.
Yeah, don't spoil anymore.
Just release. I don't even think there's going to be spoilers. As a John Wick movie, I don't think there's going to be a lot of spoilers. But I just think this does it. This mission accomplished.
I'm with you, and it opens 2 days after my birthday.
There you go.
So it's my birthday movie.
There you go. Well,
I'm
listen.
excited.
Let's go on to another off the top here. Speaking of opening days, one of the big surprise hit movies for me of the last couple of years was Happy Death Day.
Yes.
I didn't even want to see that movie. And I came this close to skipping the screening of it. I had no interest in it. It looks like another throwaway, low-budget horror movie that's going to be schlock. Had a great time watching that movie. So pleasantly surprised with that film. So unsurprisingly, it makes a lot of money compared to its budget. Unsurprisingly, they decided they're going to do a sequel. Sequel's supposed to come out on February 14th, Valentine's Day. However, Universal has changed the release date of the movie to February 13th, and here's why. They realized just recently that, Valentine's Day, why is Valentine's Day ringing a bell? It's the day of the shooting, the school shooting in Florida, where 17 people lost their lives. And it happened on a campus. This movie happens on a campus. All this kind of stuff, and Universal decided, you know what, we're going to move the release date. Actually, Universal actually put out the following statement. This is what they had to say. When Universal Pictures became aware last week that the one-year anniversary of the tragic events in Parkland, Florida, fell on Happy Death Day 2's release date, the studio spoke with victim advocates and immediately began the process of changing the release date to the film. Following discussions with its partners in exhibition, Universal will move North American release date to February 13th. Additionally, the studio has decided not to show the film in Parkland and the surrounding areas. Outdoor, digital, and in-theater marketing for the film will be suspended in those markets. The studio understands the importance of memorializing the February 14th date as an opportunity to continue to allow the Parkland community to heal. Let me tell you what, this is super classy.
Yeah,
This is super classy. Wow. And what impresses me the most, this wasn't some controversy. It's not like there was some groups came and demanded Universal change. No, it was just Universal going, oh my God. Like, because it's February 14th, it's Valentine's Day. You don't think of other things. It's like Parkland, the violence, this happens on campus. Look, it's a small, subtle change. Don't show it in that community. Move the release date out of respect by one day. But to me, it's a change they didn't have to do. Nobody was forcing them to do it. And they just decided, you know what, this is the right thing. And I got to tell you what, I wouldn't have had a problem had they moved ahead and released it. Like, bad things happen in our world, and I get that. I wouldn't have had a problem. They didn't. But I got to take my hat off to Universal for this move. Like, this is classy. It was not in response to anything else. They did it unprovoked. They just decided this is the right thing to do. And I thought it was a really nice move. Your response to this?
I think it's fantastic. I wasn't aware of it, so you just mentioned it. I think that's it's the way of it's what we need more of in our society. Respect that isn't demanded or provoked through outrage.
Right.
No one got mad at them. They did this on their own. It shows that they're thinking. It shows that they're paying respect. I love this kind of behavior. I wish there was more of it. That said, I can't wait to see this movie.
Oh, me too.
It looks like the Back to the Future 2 of how Back to the Future kind of revisited Back to the Future 2 revisited the element. It looks like the Back to the Future 2 of Happy Death Day movies. And I can't wait. It looks great.
Yeah, I'm loving it. And by the way, I don't think Universal or anybody else is saying that henceforth,
no.
February 14th shall never be a release date. Nobody's saying that, but I think 1 year later, a movie about a lot of violence on a campus. Well, I just think it was really good, sharp, smart thinking on that part.
I do too. And the next day on the 14th, Alita Battle Angel opens, and I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I'm like that. We've talked a lot about that. The movie again, I thought was a throwaway one. The recent trailers have got me on board for it. But you know what? We bag on studios a lot around here for dumb things that get done sometimes, and it's really nice when we get a chance to say, you know what? Good on Universal. Good move, guys. We like that. All right, one last off the top here, and that's this. Look, for the last week or so, a lot of you guys know on the show, a lot of you guys have been writing in, and it happened again yesterday, saying, what the hell is going on with Chaos Walking? Which is, of course, Tom Holland and
Daisy
Ridley. But David Oyelowo is in his way. Damian Bashir is also in it. It's got a massive stacked cast. It is a big film.
Directed by Doug Liman.
Directed by Doug Liman. The movie's release date is March 1st. And a lot of people have been writing in and saying, guys, it's middle of January.
Where's the trailer?
Where are the trailers? Now, you guys may know I used to be on the payroll of Lionsgate, so I know a few people over Lionsgate. So finally last night, I talked to somebody, and I can confirm for you guys what we all suspected. So this ain't breaking news, because we all suspected this, but I can confirm for you guys, Chaos Walking is not going to release on March 1st. It is not going to hit its release date. I can confirm that for you. It will not happen. As a matter of fact, right now, I don't think they have an idea when this movie is going to be released at this point, honestly. And to be honest with you, I've talked to a number of people kind of connected to Lionsgate and whatever, not hearing good things about the movie. But again, I spoke with somebody who was close to the situation there late last night, and she said, yeah, the movie is not going to be hitting its release date. So there you go, guys. Chaos Walking, mystery solved. It ain't going to be released.
I mean, even with the stars of billion-dollar films, Daisy Ridley's been in 2.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland's been in...
And going to be in multiple.
And they can't get that movie out? I mean, that's amazing to me.
I mean, look, this is a complicated business. There's a lot of stuff running around. All I know is I've been fascinated by this movie. Right. I mean, like when we talked about it, I love the cast. I love the director they've got on board for it. The story sounds, in a sci-fi element, sounds pretty unique and different. I've been looking forward to this. I've been wanting to see this. So nuts. Look, yeah, you hit 6 weeks until the movie's supposed to come out and you still don't have a trailer. That kind of gives you notification.
I want to see the cheeky headlines that are in the Hollywood Reporter or Variety about this.
Chaos not walking.
Yeah, chaos walking nowhere. Who knows?
Chaos sitting.
Who knows?
All right, guys. With that off the top stuff out of the way, let's go on to our main topics for the day. And how do we select our main topics? Well, easy. You guys select them by emailing me your topics and questions anytime, 24/7. We're full service around here. To john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Make sure you guys put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep those emails to 90 words or less. With that done, Ashley, what's our first email of the day?
All right. The first email that we got today is from Vladimir Drunken. He says, "Hi, John. I just started watching The Office about a year ago after hearing you talk about it, and it's awesome.
Yes.
Did you see the Netflix announcement about Space Force? I can't wait. It's Steve Carell and the creator of The Office producing it and Carell leading it. There's also rumors that Carell's deal is the richest one they've ever given an actor. What do you think?"
Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know much about this, a little while ago, President Trump announced that he wants the formation of a Space Force. Well, apparently, Steve Carell, that instantly gave him an idea. And him and the creator of the North American version of The Office, who worked together so brilliantly on The Office, got together and said, we can do a show about that. And they pitched it to Netflix. Netflix didn't even wait. They didn't wait. They said, done. Sign it up. And they signed it immediately on the spot. They didn't even let Carell pitch it to anybody else. They said, we will. What does it take to sign this right now so you don't even offer this to anybody else? And they signed him on the spot. And they even put out their first little teaser. Now, you're right. The word is right now that this is going to be the single richest deal Netflix has ever signed to an individual talent. Here, I believe this is from the Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter gave some details on this. And they said the following. Sources say Carell's salary for Space Force, including co-creator and executive producer fees, sets a new overall record for Netflix at any rate, for talent, likely topping $1 million per episode paydays that the cast members of CBS's The Big Bang Theory previously netted. With The Office ranking as one of Netflix's most watched acquired series, sources note that often collects more views than their original programming. The streamer stepped up after hearing Carell was ready to return to series regular television and aggressively pursued the project. The show was not shopped elsewhere. So first of all, it does not surprise me that The Office is one of the most viewed things on on Netflix. I mean, obviously, I still watch it a couple times every week. Just put on. I play roulette. I play roulette with Parks and Rec and The Office, where like we'll be sitting down to have dinner and want to put something on, just go to The Office and then close your eyes and scroll through the episodes and then just hit play and you know a good episode's going to come up. That's what they did. What really gets me about this story is honestly the brilliant move by Netflix, because Normally here you play a little bit of hardball. Okay, you want to pitch a series?
Right.
Okay, convince us. You're Steve Carell. You want to come back to TV? Yeah, sign it. Do you want to know what the show's about? We don't care. Just signed it and got him. And this was a great move. And at $1 million an episode for maybe the most successful sitcom actor, maybe of all time at this place, only really needing to be in one. I think this is a great move. And it's supposed to be a workplace comedy. They're calling it a workplace comedy. Sound like something? It's supposed to be a workplace comedy about the guys who are now put in charge of making this Space Force a reality and making it happen. I think this sounds great. What do you think about this?
I couldn't be more excited about this. I have always loved great comedic. There's got to be a sci-fi bent to it. Maybe not. Maybe they never get into space.
Right.
But I think they might. Like, I love any kind of humorous show that deals with. There was a show back, I want to say it was in the late 70s, called Quark, that starred Richard Benjamin, and it was basically about space garbage collectors. They would travel through space and collect garbage bags, and it was hilarious. Red Dwarf, the great British show,
right.
Red Dwarf. I mean, I'm a fan of anything to do with space and humor, I will watch. And with Steve Carell in it, come on. This goes to the top of my list of things I want to see.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any sci-fi elements to it.
Well, I'm hoping there might be.
I think the whole series is just going to be about these guys trying to get this thing to happen in the first place.
I mean, I've been saying that ever since I saw The Martian. I've wanted them just to make a movie about the people that run NASA, like Donald Glover's character and Sean Bean's character and Jeff Daniels' character. That's what I want this to be. The guys are going to run the Space Force, just like my dream project that'll never happen of the NASA techs that were in The Martian. I want it to be a show like that.
Well, it very well may be. I think this is terrific news. What do you guys think? You excited about this? Jump down in the comment section and leave your thoughts below. All right, let's move on to the next issue today. What's up?
All right, from Patreon supporter Don J. Says, hey, John, NBCUniversal just announced plans to launch yet another streaming service. They apparently plan to launch it sometime in 2020. I know consumers should only pay for what they can afford and use, but yet with another streaming service coming in addition to the likes of Disney Plus and Warner Media's new service, do you think the fragmentation of content is getting out of control? I mean, who can keep up with all this? What do you think, Robert? I mean, I have like Netflix and Hulu. I don't know. It's so much.
Well, here's the thing. All of the studios, you can expect all the few remaining studios to do this. I mean, this is not, to me, does not surprise me at all. NBCUniversal has a very deep catalog.
Yeah, very much so.
And I think that they are, this is an expected move. This does not surprise me at all. And I think it makes sense. When you have such a deep catalog of television shows and movies that go back all the way back to the dawn. I mean, the Universal Monsters, back to the 30s, back to the 20s. I mean, it's to be expected, and it really comes down to what kind of content is your favorite. What do you want to pay for?
Yeah.
So,
and there's an interesting twist on this one, though. There's the interesting twist with the NBCUniversal one is that it's going to be free for people who are already cable subscribers with Comcast. If you're a Comcast subscriber, if you're already a cable subscriber, you're going to get this new streaming service for free, and they're going to try to support it via ads. So they are going to do this streaming service and do something a little different in that they're going to bring a traditional broadcast mentality, monetization structure of putting in ads. And then if you're a cable subscriber and you don't want ads on it, you pay a fee. And then if you're not a cable subscriber, you pay a fee to get the streaming service. One of the things that the CEO mentioned that rings very true, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is that, look, we're heading into an era now where, just like everything else, is there too much? Only if you think that we all have to have every service. If you think we have to have, every one of us have to have every streaming service, then yes, we are getting to that point where it's going to be too much. But what the CEO said was really good. He goes, look, we're getting to a point where we're going to have to compete because consumers are going to choose 3 or 4 or 5 packages that work for them and that they like. And we can't just think that all of us can put up these streaming services and everybody's going to get them.
Right.
No, we're going to have to compete with each other to get the consumer's attention, to get them to want to choose us as their streaming service. But I do think it's a pretty interesting move to say a whole chunk of people are going to be able to get this service for free, and we're going to do it the traditional ad model way. It's going to be neat to see. I'm going to ask you something, Ashley. Like, are you interested? one of the great things about Hulu for me, because I get the Hulu Plus, I pay the way, is no commercials. I love watching Netflix, no commercials. But would a new streaming service attract you knowing you don't have to pay for it, but it'll still have commercials? Is that something that would, like, as an average viewer, would that appeal to you?
Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, if I didn't have to pay for it, if I was already paying for it and it was just like an addition and there were a couple commercials, it'd be annoying, I think, but I would still be like game on.
Yeah, as long as you're giving me the content,
Yeah.
I'm okay watching the commercial. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people respond to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the new world we live in. This is why I love my physical media, because I can watch it whenever I want.
Oh, here comes this debate again.
But no, I mean, look, you're going to see these content owners that own a lot of content that go way back. They're all going to have their own streaming services, and I think rightfully so.
And by the way, NBC says they're not going to abandon their relationships with other streaming services like a Netflix that carries a bunch of their, including the aforementioned The Office.
Right.
The Office apparently will be on this new streaming service, and it'll still be on. So it's going to be neat to see what is going to be exclusive to their streaming service. What stuff are they still going to let other providers carry? A lot of details to come, but I think they're looking for a 2020 launch date. So let's see how this thing starts to shake out. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, from Ryan Barrett says, "Hi Giovanni, I know you've mentioned before that you'd like to see Hunchback of Notre Dame live action movie, but that it would be tough to pull off. Well, I guess Disney is up for the challenge since there are reports that they're developing it. Do you think they'll go with the darker tone of the story and the 90s animated movie, or do you think they'll Disneyfy it up? Thanks." What do you think?
I think that animated one from the 90s is a great movie.
I do too.
I think Demi Moore did the voice of Esmeralda in that one. I think she did the voice of that. But at any rate, what always struck me about that animated one, though, as they were saying in the email, there are parts of it that are really dark.
Yeah.
Like that one song when the villain's talking about sending up Esmeralda and everybody in flames and murder and kill. It's like, this is dark, and there's innuendo, and there's like a lot of stuff. And I've always wondered, how do you do that if you do that live? How do you do that if you do it live? But I like the idea. Look, Disney, despite getting off to a little bit of a rocky start with, I thought Maleficent Angelina Jolie was brilliant, but I thought the movie was quite poor. They started a little bit, but then they did that Cinderella, which I thought was...
loved that Cinderella
wasn't
movie.
It great? I thought that was wonderful. And they did a good job with Beauty and the Beast. They didn't knock it out of the park with Beauty, but they did a good job with Beauty and the Beast. We got Lion King coming up. They're on a bit of a roll. They're already, I think they're getting ready to wrap production. If they haven't already wrapped production on Mulan, they're getting ready to roll this. I think this could be really good. It could be really special. One of the interesting things, though, that's going out about this is that Josh Gad is on as a producer of the film, and one can only assume he might actually be the title role. He might actually be starring this because he's got an ongoing relationship with Disney right now. Not only is he the voice of Olaf in the Frozen stuff, he was also maybe one of the best parts about the live action Beauty and the Beast as LeFou. He was so good as LeFou.
So good.
And I didn't used to like Josh Gad, but he is, over the past 3 or 4 years, he's been winning me over. He could be a really interesting choice for Hunchback. Do you think this is a good move for them to go Hunchback?
I do, because first of all, I like the milieu. You know, I've always liked the various iterations of the Hunchback story over the years. I mean, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, whatever, has been made numerous times. And I think of all the Disney versions of these live action films, it could get... I mean, I'd love to see Kenneth Branagh, who directed
the Cinderella,
to come back and direct this. I don't know if they set a director for it yet, but you know, he really classes up the joint.
He does.
You know, Kenneth Branagh as a director. Ever since I saw Henry V, I think that was his first feature that he directed. He also played the title role. Man, he directed Thor.
I know.
First Thor. I'm a big fan, and I've really liked what they've done with their live action films. I mean, this excites me. I want to see it.
All right, what's next?
Okay, from Boris N. I recently looked up John Wick 3 to see when it was being released and noticed it has a runtime of 143 minutes. This is
not long enough.
This is 20 minutes longer than part 2 and 40 minutes longer than the first. Do you feel this may be too long for a fast-paced action film? Time flew by with part 2. So maybe I'm worried about nothing. Thanks in advance, and also for being part of my daily routine. What do you think, Robert? Do you think these action movies are getting a little too long, or can you not get enough?
Hell no, I cannot get enough. I would watch a 5-hour John Wick movie, because that just means more people are going to get shot in the head by John Wick. And there's I think the action genre has really, the American action genre has lost something. You know, it was sort of a staple. We got movies like Commando, the Schwarzenegger films of the 80s. And now we've seen some great foreign, like my beloved The Raid, or as I like to say, The Rad. And The Rad 2, even radder. If you haven't seen The Raid, it's on Netflix. Amazing. And these John Wick films bring back that just sense of mirth-filled action adventure and fun of one dude killing a bunch of other dudes. And I miss that from my youth. And I think Keanu Reeves, man, as an action hero, there's just something about him that works. I loved him in Speed. I loved him in The Matrix. I mean, I loved him in Bill and Ted, and I loved him in The River. But man, I love these John Wick movies.
You just love him.
Make them longer. I do. I got a big man crush on Keanu Reeves.
Well, it's not a bad guy I have a crush. I'll tell you what, though. Number one, I cannot confirm that this movie is actually 2 hours and 23 minutes. I can't confirm that. But the little stuff I was able to find, yeah, everybody's saying it's 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm actually going to go the other way. I believe that there are certain genres that work better and are more effective in slightly shorter packages. Like a good traditional comedy, great around the 90-minute mark, maybe 100 minutes. There's something about that when you start to go over that, it starts to draw out. And while I enjoy John Wick 2 very much, one of my criticisms of John Wick 2 might actually be that at times it just felt drawn out. Like when you have the pedal to the metal for too long, it starts to get a little bit fatiguing for an audience. And I can't help but wonder if a John Wick movie works better in 110 minutes kind of range. And I just can't help but wonder if, like, after about an hour of sword, gun, dogs, blah, 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 of all that, if at some point the audience goes from this to this. And I just can't. So that's the other thing I brought up a little bit earlier, wondering if in this movie, is it just nonstop, every assassin in the world's trying to kill me and I got to outkill them to survive? Or are they going to introduce a different dramatic plot, all this kind of things? My first reaction is I think they should have this shorter, but we won't know for sure until we see the movie and then all will be revealed.
But one of the great things about the John Wick movies is the once again that word, the milieu, the world that it takes place in. They introduce all these really new, interesting characters, and we're getting Halle Berry, and I think that the world building is as important to the John Wick franchise as the action is. So if we get more of that world building and more of that sort of interesting world building that they've done so well in the first two movies, I think that would be cool, which is why I want a longer version. And I disagree with you. I disagree with you about the justice for Han Solo. But anyway, bring it on. Longer movie.
All right, let's move on now to the final email of the day.
Okay, last email, Rob Biffo says, John, in a recent interview with Entertainment Tonight, Sam Jackson stated that Captain Marvel is pretty much the strongest character, and she's one of the few people in the MCU who can time travel.
What?
Important to note that within the context of the statement, he was referring to the Avengers and how they need someone as powerful as Thanos. What are your thoughts on this potential spoiler and the overall inclusion of time travel now being a part of Captain Marvel's abilities with the MCU?
All right. This is one of those hold the phone moments. Wait, what? Captain Marvel is a time traveler? Look, I will confess, I've read a bunch of Captain Marvel. I've not read everything Captain Marvel. I just haven't. I don't recall time travel being part of the repertoire of like one of her innate powers, Robert, and all this kind of stuff. Now, just so we're clear, let's take a look at Samuel L. Jackson's specific comment. This is specifically what Samuel L. Jackson said, and we'll read this at length because there's a lot in here. Pardon me. Samuel Jackson said, she's pretty much the strongest character, which Kevin Feige's kind of suggested before, in terms of someone with powers are able to do things in the Marvel Universe. So for Carol Danvers to be that person and for Brie to become that person, it's going to be a dynamite thing. I mean, the Avengers are up against some really, really tough odds right now. We saw throughout Infinity War. So now we know that we need something that's as powerful as Thanos. And at some point, we'll find out how powerful she is and all the things that she's capable of. And then here comes the money shot, ladies and gentlemen. She's one of the few people in the Marvel Universe that can time travel. That, of course, comes from Samuel L. Jackson. Now, a lot of people Robert, have been speculating that time travel is going to be a key element, maybe, of the next Avengers movie, of Endgame. Did Samuel L. Jackson just tip the pot and let us know about how that, like, I think we've all kind of assumed Captain Marvel was going to be a key figure in Avengers Endgame, but this key? Like, was his pager not just sending out a message at the end of Infinity War across the cosmos, but across time itself to tell Carol Danvers? Like, what's going on here? You read this, how do you react?
Okay, here's the thing. Never trust actors, first of all. Never trust what actors work on movies the least. By the way, Sam Jackson just celebrated his 70th birthday this past week.
Holy
70 years
crap.
old. He is one, well, you can't see it now, but I won't say it. But he is. And look, I think that there are probably certain, I think time travel is involved somehow in Avengers Endgame.
A lot of people do.
And I think that going, if it is true that you have to go through the quantum realm to time travel, I think there's only a few people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have the physical ability to travel through time. I don't think, I mean, Scott Lang can because he has the suit.
Right.
Captain Marvel, I'll bet, can survive the rigors of whatever kind of time travel is involved in this movie because she's so powerful. I don't think everybody could. I don't think Black Widow could time travel because she's just a human. Maybe Captain America could because he's a super soldier. I think what Sam Jackson was referring to is the fact that she doesn't have innate time travel abilities. I think she's probably one of the only people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that can time travel without being killed. That's what I would imagine.
Interesting. I just, again, I love what you said. Never trust actors. And you're right. They are the ones who work on a movie the least. Out of everybody who works on a movie, they work on it the least. And that's actually a really great observation. But Sam Jackson does seem to phrase this in the terms of she has this power, that she can time travel. And I don't know if that's something that becomes revealed later in the movie. And by the way, there's a very strong possibility here, you're absolutely right, that Sam Jackson is speaking out of his ass. He could totally be saying things purposely to throw people off and blah, blah, and get, naive people like me into a tizzy of going, wait a minute, what does that mean?
Right.
That she's able to time travel. Like, does this kind of explain everything that we're going to get into when it comes down to Avengers Endgame or not? And even if not, how does something like that play into Captain Marvel itself? Does time travel become an element and a key part of the plot and the narrative in Captain Marvel itself? But again, Rob, I can't think of any reference ever in any of the comics, and you've read more of them than I have, that suggests that she had any kind of ability like that.
No.
Has she ever done any like quantum realm traveling or anything like that where she was displaced
her
in time?
character has gone through many different changes. And
Right.
indeed
And iterations.
has been through many iterations. And I, again, off the top of my head, I've been reading a lot of the stuff of the last 5 or 6 years, but I don't recall having innate time travel abilities. She's not like Kang the Conqueror or somebody like
Right.
that. But you never know what they've done.
Yeah, so
Maybe Sam does know something that we don't.
It's not like they stay completely to canon with the abilities of all the characters in the MCU. Maybe this is a new one, or then again, maybe it's just Samuel L. Jackson throwing us all off.
I mean,
the trail.
Superman's a time traveler. He can travel back in time. In the first Superman movie, he spun the
Oh,
world back.
that's right.
He didn't really spin the world back. He traveled through time. They just used the world spinning backwards as a representation of Superman going through time because he was flying so fast.
Right, because if he actually did that, the planet would have ripped into 1,000 pieces.
Right.
Yes.
Which I always hate. People are like, he spun the world back. No, that was just a visual representation.
Science, ladies and gentlemen, science. All right, guys, that will do it for all the email questions today. But as we like to do around here at the John Campea Show, we like to save time to take your live questions because we do this show live every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. A bunch of you guys have already sent in a ton of live questions. So, Ashley, let's get rolling on this.
Okay, let's do it. Keenan Kohler says, most likely Thor 4, Iron Man 4, Captain America 4.
You know what? If you asked me this question a year ago, I would say Captain America 4. Thor is in a resurgence. Thor Ragnarok, massively popular.
Yep.
The audiences of every audience I was with watching Infinity War, when he comes to Wakanda with Rocket and Groot, and he appears in the Bifrost, and Banner goes, you guys are screwed now. The audience loses their mind every time. Because of that role, I'm going to say Thor 4 is the most likely.
I'm with you. I believe that's true too because Thor 4 was so much fun. And the direction of where they seem to be going is they want a little bit more fun in their movies as opposed to the dark end of the world, end of the universe. Half of us are dead.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, love Thor. All right, Ant Banks, 1984. Who wins in a foot race, Steve Rogers or T'Challa?
If I'm not I'm trying to remember the scene in Civil War where they're doing that amazing action sequence when they're running through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I believe Cap was catching up to T'Challa. So I'm only on that. And then in the battlefield, I believe T'Challa got the head start and then Steve Rogers caught up to him. So that's all I've got is those two examples. On those two, I'm going to guess Steve Rogers.
Me too.
All right, what's next?
All right, Curtis Lopez. Don't mean to cause any groans, but do you think within the next 10 to 20 years we'll get a Kardashian family biopic? Love them or hate them, they had an impact on pop culture.
They did. They are the epitome of famous for being famous. However, I think over the last couple of years, you've seen that popularity dwindle, and more people are realizing, who are these people again?
Right.
Why do we care who they are and what they do? And I think that's diminishing. So I don't think so. I personally don't think so.
I don't either. They've been making their own biopic on TV, and we've all had to watch.
Well, we don't have to watch.
Well, we don't. You're right. I've actually never watched.
Well, there you go. All right, what's next?
But they're everywhere. Deckard Shaw. Hey, Robert. Hashtag Han definitely had it coming.
Come on, man.
Definitely had it coming. That dude was annoying. Just so annoying. I'm like watching these movies. I'm like, I wish somebody would straight up kill that dude. And then Jason Statham came along and saved the day for all of us.
I can't believe this ongoing hatred for Han Solo, one of the greatest characters that's ever been in a movie ever.
All right, what's next?
Donaldo Martinez. Could the increase in Netflix prices be also due to recent reports of subscribers sharing accounts?
No, the subscriber sharing accounts thing has been around forever. I mean, that's not new. That's not whatever. It's a reflection of the changing the time. Look, my $14 plan didn't go to $38. It went to $16. And by the way, they are spending billions now every year in original content. That's where the price increase is coming from, unless you see it coming
No,
from
I
something
see
else.
it exactly. I mean, think about it. A $2 price increase if they have 120 million subscribers worldwide. That's some cheddar every month.
$240 million extra dollars. And if you're going to spend billions every year on new stuff, you got to get it from somewhere. All right, what's next?
All right, Ben Rayner. Han's opinion about Shaw working with the team in Fast 8, that's not how family works.
Han's opinion? Han didn't give an opinion about Shaw working with the team.
No, he didn't because he was dead.
He was dead. Oh, thank God.
It wasn't
he was dead.
someone else said that. But
Yeah,
you know
somebody
what?
else said that,
Shaw
yeah.
should never work with the team. He was an irredeemable bad guy. I understand what they were trying to do, but it was wrong-headed, and that's the one misstep that franchise has made, even more so than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, it was a brilliant move bringing him in because narratively they needed him at that point. Kurt Russell knows, look, if we're going to accomplish this, we need this guy. And Rock didn't like it. Nobody else liked it. But then, he saved Vin's baby, man. He saved Vin's baby.
He killed Han.
Life for a life.
Han
Everything's even.
killed Han.
Ledger's totally square. All right, what's next?
No justice.
SJ, I just watched The Dark Knight for the first time. I was riveted the whole time, and Heath Ledger's performance ranks as the best villain all time, in my opinion.
I still can't get over the idiotic notion, absolutely idiotic notion, that I still hear from people today that goes, well, I mean, Heath Ledger only won the Oscar because he died. No, he didn't. I wouldn't have screamed bloody murder had he not won, because there were other he won because it's become an iconic performance all time. He did not win just because he died. I absolutely guarantee you that. A lot of people loved his performance in that movie. A lot of people love those movies. Look at the critic rating on that movie. People adore that movie. He was carrying all the major weight in that film. That's why he won. And you're right. His performance in it is riveting, and it just makes me extra sad we'll never see him do it again.
I know, and people forget. You've seen the Joker. There's been many iterations of the Joker. He made that performance like it was a brand new character you'd never seen before. Unbelievable.
Distinctly. It's a funny thing too is I've always thought, and I still believe, Heath Ledger was a hit and miss actor. He would be in some movies where he's not very good, and then he'd be in some movies, whether it's like a Dark Knight, Brokeback, and like really kill it. But clearly, he saved his best.
He
for
was
last.
Skip Engblom in Lords of Dogtown,
Oh,
which I
that's
love
right.
almost as much as his performance in The Dark Knight.
All right, what's next?
All right, Harris. Dragon Ball Super Brawly made 5 million plus opening day. I know Campea isn't a huge on Dragon Ball, but how about you, Robert? Have a wonderful day, Cam Ham Ha.
To be honest, I have not caught up with Dragon Ball Z. It's not an anime property that I've followed. I know nothing about it, but I'm sure I do like some of the figures I've seen. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
You know who's a fan of Dragon Ball? Han. So he can die with him. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've never been a big Dragon Ball fan, but that's just me. But I've got a lot of friends who totally are, and really been really excited about this. And I've got a number of Dragon Ball figures around my place because my buddy, like Ray and our buddy Ryan, love Dragon Ball. There's always figures around my house.
So I'm too old. Some of these things I just passed me by because I was too old.
You're never too old.
I was
but they
too old
say in Tag, you don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing.
It's true. It's true.
All right, what's next?
All right, Spencer Smothers. If the story in Captain Marvel is connected to the Endgame, how would that affect your take on Captain Marvel's opening and overall box office?
Ooh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. First of all, no one's going to know how connected it is to Endgame until they see it.
Right.
So I don't see it really having any impact, positively or negatively, on its opening weekend box office because no one's going to know till they see it. If people come running out saying, guys, if you're going to watch Endgame, you got to see this because it's connected, then that could have an impact. But that's a huge if. But as far as opening weekend goes, I don't see any impact.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's going to be interesting being that Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s and then Infinity War basically takes place 20 years later, or Endgame takes place. How does that work?
30 years later.
Well, maybe she does time travel.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Or she doesn't age.
Or
she's been like with Han, not that Han, in Carbonite. She's been with Han in Carbonite.
She's been Creed up. She's Creed up.
She's Creed up. That's true. All right, what's next?
All right. KW Garrett 83. This is not new, but I read how critics got death threats for negative Aquaman reviews. In my opinion, anyone making death threats should be banned from the platform.
Well, look, there are pathetic cousin humping losers out there. I still remember when a friend of mine was the first critic, and she was insane, but she was the first critic to give a negative review to the first Avengers movie. And
What?
Yeah, Amy Nichols. She gave the first negative review to it, and I thoroughly disagree with her, but that's the subjectivity of film. She watched a movie, and it didn't work for her. And the toxic man babies who then just death threats and you deserve to die and blah, blah, all this kind of nonsense. And it's like, you are a real pathetic losers. And it's unbelievable how much there are. But yeah, no, it's way too much and it goes way too far. And yes, these people should not only be taken off systems, people who do stuff like that should be hunted down and castrated. I mean, because they shouldn't be allowed to breed. I mean, it's just that's just no, it's one thing to come on and say, I don't like your take on that movie. That's fine.
Right.
To say I'm going to threaten people's lives. These people need to be exposed and hunted down.
No, I'm with you. I think that look, a movie's a movie. An opinion is an opinion. Nobody deserves to be threatened or if they don't like something. By the way, if somebody doesn't like something, it doesn't affect you at all. It doesn't make your opinion any better or any worse. It doesn't make the movie any better or any worse. It's just an opinion, man.
All right, what's next?
All right, Grandmaster. Hi, John. Love all your work. Did fact checker Jonathan tell you yet that John Williams had not 32, but indeed 51 Oscar nominations? Be my hero, Jonathan. Inform your boss. He won't believe me with this.
Okay, Jonathan just yelled out he had 51 Oscar nominations. Okay, first of all, Grandmaster, give me a break. This one time somebody wrote in about that, and I while doing a show live, I just opened up and quickly did a quick count of a list, and I said 32, whatever. So I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is at this point. Let's move on, shall we? All right, what's next?
Ant Banks, 1984. With all the force powers Ebony Maw had in Infinity War, he would have made a great Sith Lord.
Damn, I love that character so much.
I do too.
Not just his power set and not just his design, the way he spoke, the way he carried himself. Oh my God. What did he say? What was the exact phrase when he pinned Strange against the wall? Something, your powers are quaint. You must be a hit with the children. Yeah. Oh, I'd like to say that to Doctor Strange. I was actually a little sad when they killed him.
I would love to have kept that character around.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope Hot Toys, they've shown that they're making the Obsidian Order, the Black Order, whatever. I want that character.
Yeah. They all died in the movie, though. So, I mean, I guess he had to go, too. But I would have been down for him sticking around. I really would have. All right, what's next?
All right. I'm Upset says, thoughts on the Superfly 2018 film?
I have not seen the Superfly film, but it looked good. Look, I am a fan of blaxploitation cinema all the way back to the 70s. I mean, I loved Slaughter. I loved Dolomite. I loved Black Caesar. and I loved Superfly. And I have to say, I've only seen the trailers for the new Superfly, but it looked like a tremendous throwback. I want to see it. It's something I do want to see. And if you guys want to see a really fun movie, watch Original Gangsters, directed by Larry Cohen.
By the way, it's one that completely came and went for me. And by the time I thought about getting around to it, it was already gone. It didn't last long in theaters. It came and went pretty quick, and I just never had a chance to catch up to it.
I mean, it looked like a total throwback, and it looked like it was really lavishly produced. So I do want to see it.
All right, what's next?
Orange Hand says, John, you're right about studios spending too much money. Rewatched Hellboy 2. Amazing visuals, both practical and CG on a budget of, drumroll, 85 mil.
Yeah, I mean, they were another great example of big IP, big comic book movie, huge visuals, and to do it for a proper budget. Now, granted, neither of the first two Hellboy movies made a lot of money, but that had nothing to do. The movies were made in such a way they were great, and I've been saying it forever. Orange Hand studios spend too much, and now then people say to me, "Why do you care how much they spend on making the movies?" Because where do you think they're getting the money to make those movies? From you. They increase how much they spend, which means they need to get back more money, which means they have to work with the theaters and force them to raise the ticket prices because they need to get more money. You're paying for it. So don't give me this, it doesn't affect you. It absolutely affects you. It completely connects to us, and they got to get that spending under control. All right, what's next?
Chad Van Syke, can you talk on Hollywood accounting? Does this still exist, and is it as bad as people say it is?
Well, this isn't the platform for us to go into an in-depth conversation about Hollywood accounting. But, there are talent and people who get paid based on how much a movie makes. But then there are stories about sometimes studios make it look like a $1 billion film actually lost money because this went to this and this went to this. And are there examples of that? Yes. Is it an epidemic in the Hollywood system? I don't think so, but I don't think it's totally rare either. Other than that, there's not a lot more. Have you had experiences with that? Like having worked with the big studios and making some films, have you experienced that?
What a lot of people don't understand is a lot of the large studios, their daily operational costs get charged back to the budgets of films.
Right.
Because the studios themselves, whether it's distribution, it's not just the production and the budget of how much it costs to make a movie. The studios charge their infrastructure against what the earnings of film are. And we shouldn't get into it. It's a long conversation. But yes, Hollywood accounting still goes on, but it's not like it's illegitimate.
Right.
I mean, they just figure out ways of being very creative, charging back all of the studio's operational costs to how much a film is making. So they don't have to pay people a lot of the time. I mean, movies are still, in the red.
All right, what's next?
Brian Esparza, saw Infinity War in Dolby again yesterday. Do you think any Avenger will wield Gauntlet in Avengers 4?
Well, first of all, that's awesome. You got to see Infinity War on a big screen again. Because I haven't seen it playing anywhere around here. Because I would definitely go back and watch it on the big screen again at this point. Will somebody else actually wield the gauntlet? One of the interesting things that the Russo brothers said in the commentary on Infinity War was the gauntlet was permanently damaged. Not only the gauntlet, they said Thanos and the gauntlet were both permanently damaged. And you saw that after the snap, the gauntlet was basically a wreck. So I don't think that means it's impossible that it happens. I'm going to guess, no, we don't see another character wield the gauntlet. What do you think?
Well, other characters have wielded the gauntlet in the comics.
In the comics, yes.
But
Nebula.
But yeah, I don't want to. You should read the Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Crusade. But I don't think so in the movie because, like you said, I think it's gone. I think something else is going to happen.
Right.
I think there's a villain in the movie we don't even know about.
And we're going to find that out soon. All right, next.
Santez Henderson, with Aquaman hitting $1 billion, do you think the lesson to all comic book companies is that maybe it's a good idea to use second and third tier characters?
Well, I don't know. Remember, Aquaman, there were two big advantages Aquaman had. Number one, they brought in a big high-profile director and had a great marketing campaign. The other one is, it's not like they came out of nowhere and just dropped an Aquaman that nobody had ever heard of.
Right.
Aquaman was introduced in Justice League, and a lot of people liked him in Justice League. So I'm not sure that that's the lesson here. I think what you can take away is that you can make movies. There was a time, going back years and years and years ago, there was a time when I thought that Iron Man movie that Marvel was making was a bad idea. And I said, and I quote, He's a poor man's Batman. A rich dude who uses his money to put together gadgets and toys to fight the evils of the world. He's a poor man's Batman. Nobody cares about him. Blah, blah, blah. Well, now look at it, right? So I think that the lesson here is that you can, if you function right and if you take the right approach and you manage it properly, that you can take these second and third tier characters and make something. Venom is another good example of that. Like, well, everybody loves Venom. Most people who don't read comic books have no idea who Venom is. Okay, so let's just be clear on that. If you do it right, it can work. And I thought they handled it right.
I completely agree with you.
All right.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If it's a good story and a great character, you can make any movie work.
And the right marketing campaign and set it up the proper. Yeah. All right, what's next?
All right, TuneTube. If Star Wars 9 is a failure, under $1 billion, bad with critics and audiences, what do you think is the worst case scenario?
First of all, take this whole notion that if Star Wars Episode 9 makes under $1 billion, it's a failure. Put that idiocy away right now. That's just ridiculous. A movie makes $810 million and makes the studio hundreds of millions in profit. Put that nonsense away. But let's follow your question through, though. Let's say a Justice League scenario happens to Star Wars Episode 9. Let's say the critics dislike the movie. The audiences aren't split on the movie, but dislike the movie. And the movie makes $575 million. All right? What's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is, well, it's Episode 9. Their new trilogy's done. They probably wait a few years and do new things. Because Disney's not going anywhere. They're not leaving Star Wars behind. But I think worst case scenario is maybe we wait 2 or 3 years and then they move on. But honestly, it would take something like that. It would take like a $500 million performance. The critics hate it. The audiences en masse hate it. If that happens, we'll probably see a few years. But honestly, I don't see anything much worse than that.
No, first of all, that's never going to happen. Second of all, The Mandalorian's coming out. You've got the first live-action Star Wars series, which I'll bet you they've spent in excess of $10 million an episode. I bet it's awesome. Star Wars isn't going anywhere anytime soon. If we survive the prequel trilogy,
we can survive. But like that, after the prequel trilogy, we did have a period of time where things went quiet, right?
Right.
And maybe we'll get another period. But you're right, Mandalorian, they're launching the Disney Plus.
I mean, even after the prequel trilogy, we got the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars series, it ran 6 seasons and got great. It was really good. Then we got Rebels. You know, Star Wars is not going anywhere. It would take a catastrophic failure of epic proportions, and they're not going to ever allow that to happen.
All right. Oh, by the way, I should mention here, because talking about our Patreon supporters, the next question is coming from one of our Patreon supporters, but I forgot to mention, I mentioned it on the Weekly Hero yesterday. For those of you guys, by the way, special thank you to all of you guys who are Patreon supporters of the channel. There is a brand new weekly podcast we are starting up just for our Patreon supporters. It's called I haven't narrowed it down. It's either best of the week or our favorite stuff of the week, whatever, where Robert and I are going to weekly talk about our favorite things that week, our top 3 favorite things that week. That include our favorite movie news stories, but other things, a favorite new hot toy, a favorite new piece of tech that came out, whatever. We're going to be doing that. It's going to air every Friday. And actually in our first episode, since you guys don't really know much about her yet, we're going to have Ashley on that podcast with us as well. And the first episode is going to drop tomorrow, so keep your eyes open for that. So I just want to let you
She's kind
guys
of
know
our
about
favorite thing this week.
She is our favorite thing this week.
Guys,
Absolutely.
come on.
All right, Ashley, what's next?
Johnny 5. Hi, John. New Patreon supporter here. Have you seen the Davis Guggenheim documentary, It Might Get Loud with Jimmy Page, The Edge, and Jack White?
And several others. And no, I have not, but I need to. I need to watch it. Have you seen it yet?
No.
But I got to see that. I got to see that. Because, The Edge, U2's my all-time favorite band. All right, what's next?
All right, Snake. Jerusalem. Does Glass count as first superhero movie of 2019? Wow.
He probably meant as.
Yes, that's
Look, it all depends on your definitions. If you just want to say straight up superhero, not comic book movie, not whatever, and you want to say superhero movie, sure. I don't count it as a comic book movie, but a superhero movie, want to play semantics? Yeah, I guess you can count it. Yeah, you can do that. All right, what's next?
All right, Chris Warden. As it stands right now, Mary Poppins 2 has made $290 million off a $130 million budget, meaning it's lost money. Is anyone else surprised by this? I thought it would be for sure a hit with at least $400 million worldwide.
No, I thought Mary Poppins had the potential to be a massive hit. I thought there was a potential it could outgross Aquaman.
I did too.
Until I saw it. Once I saw it, And I know there are critics raving about it, and I get all that. And I was excited for the movie. The movie's okay. It's, at best, it's okay. And as soon as I saw the movie, I revised my whole outlook on that. Because going into it, I thought Aquaman will win the weekend, and then Mary Poppins will have longer legs and could eventually pass it. And then as soon as I saw Mary Poppins, like, this isn't good enough to bring people back to the theater 5 and 6 times and drag their family to see it.
I also think Mary Poppins, I love Mary Poppins, but Mary Poppins is of a different time. You know, I don't think that kids today love Mary Poppins as much as we did when I was a kid. It's just a different thing.
Yeah, and again, I just think it came down to the quality of the film. All right, what's next?
All right. Navara Parusu says, I tried to, I think, avoid spoilers for Infinity War, but thanks to the early spoiler review, it got spoiled. Not because I read the review, but from YouTube comment of the movie trailer. Do you think Marvel will even show Endgame to critics in advance?
Yep. Yeah, no, they absolutely will. They absolutely, because what has worked so well in Marvel's favor, and they've done this since the first Avengers film, because I remember they showed us, the critics, they showed us the movie weeks in advance and lifted the embargo real early because they knew we loved the film and they knew we were going to talk about it and buzz about it and ramp up and ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. And yeah, they're apps 100%. They know that's part of their success. It's not the only thing of the success, clearly, but it's part of the success. They are going to do that. This is a situation where online film pundits and commentators need to govern themselves. We have got to stop this practice of putting out spoiler reviews before the movie even opens wide or the day the movie first comes out when less than half the people have even had a chance to see it. At least wait a couple of days. At least, I'm not saying wait 2 weeks. At least wait a couple of days, because it's not on your channel it's getting spoiled. It's all the information people are taking from your spoiler reviews and then spreading it all over the place and ruin it for good people like this.
Well, it was funny because the world premiere was the night before, or the night before the first press screening ever.
Yes.
And I was at that first press screening, and I've never seen the kind of response that people had. Everyone just was, you can see John and I, there's a video of us, John Schnepp and I, online when we first stepped out of it, and they lifted the embargo right away. They were like, you can go ahead.
Yeah, because they knew you loved it.
I got pissed at the guy. I got pissed at Scott Mendelson from Forbes for saying things that I thought was spoilerific, and I'm like, dude, what's up,
but
bro?
I'm not sure it was him. I think it was somebody else from Forbes.
Well, no, he said something I personally objected to, and I attacked him on Twitter. We're good though. I like Scott Mendelson.
I like Scott too. I like his work actually. All right, what's next?
Roman Bryant, thoughts on Spider-Man the animated series?
Don't watch it. I don't like most animated series stuff. I don't even like Young Justice.
I don't even know, but which Spider-Man animated series? The original one from the 60s?
Yeah. The one with the pointing? Yeah. All right. What's next?
Cody Carell, instead of the most popular award at the Oscars, they should just do a poll voting on the next year's hosts. That way, if trolls ruin it, they'll have plenty of time to find a new one. Deadpool should do it.
Man, we've talked so much about this Oscar thing, and where do you go from here? How do you ever get a host again? Who's ever going to agree to do it? Like seeing what's happened, no one's ever going to agree to do it. I just, unless it's some like very low on the totem pole kind of person who has got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, I'd pay maybe Pauly Shore comes out of retirement and hosts the Oscars. He's got nothing to lose. I don't know. And it's just certainly a poll is not the way to go, because it doesn't matter who you vote for. They're not going to come in and do it. And even if you did Deadpool, and I love the idea of Deadpool,
I do too,
in
actually.
character doing it, Ryan Reynolds will never agree to it because he knows instantly, as soon as they say they're going to do it, there's going to be a whole ton of people out there who are going to go crawling through every letter he's ever typed on social media in his life, every interview he's ever done, everything he's ever said, and they're going to bring back up something. And so why would he do it? It's just, it's unfortunate.
Look, our outrage culture is ruining our lives. You know, people that are the fact that everybody wants to now go look and dig up some dirt that somebody said something 20 years ago, and you're going to get pilloried for that online. Who wants to live in that world? Where is that going to take us? You know
what the really worst thing about the outrage culture, and we see it whether it's the Oscar stuff. I think we saw a lot of it with the Vader fan film thing. Everybody wants to be outraged.
Yeah.
One of the real unfortunate things about outrage culture is that it diminishes the true things that deserve for us to get outraged over.
Absolutely.
Because when you start getting outraged over everything, it diminishes how important the things that are worth getting outraged over are, and that's just one of the unfortunate repercussions. Okay, what's next?
Jacob Silver's that Zac Efron movie that Robert couldn't think of yesterday is called Charlie St. Cloud.
Didn't I say Charlie St. Cloud? It's
The lucky one?
The lucky one.
The lucky ones you're talking about. Yeah, Charlie St. Cloud was a different one, I'm pretty sure. John DeBen. I said Charlie St. Cloud, but I said it in jest.
Right.
Because I didn't know. I still don't know.
I caught the movie 10 minutes in, so I didn't know what it was called.
All right, what's next?
All right, John DeBenedict. Looks like Dune has now added Charlotte Rampling as the Reverend Mother Moham. I guess Dennis is really going for it with this one. Can't wait.
Man, I heard this news yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I am so excited. First of all, Charlotte Rampling, if you haven't seen, she's in Zardoz with Sean Connery, The Night Porter. Maybe some of you shouldn't see The Night Porter, but it's an incredible film. She's been an incredible actress in both in movies all over the world, Italian cinema. She was in Stardust Memories with Woody Allen, a great performance. I mean, she's been around for 50 years. She's an amazing actress, and she is perfect to play the leader of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood.
And what's the Reverend Mother? How do you pronounce her?
Mohayim.
Okay.
And who was played by the incredible Sean Phillips in David Lynch's Dune. If you haven't seen I, Claudius, one of the greatest things ever on TV, Sean Phillips as Livia is the single greatest female villain of all time.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave. Rob, did you check out Darth Melchett?
I did not.
Melchett.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either. Was that from? I forget what I did a ripped with Rob.
Oh,
I think that might have been something from last night. I don't remember.
What's next?
Oh man. John DeBenedict also hashtag justice for Han.
Yes, John. Thank you for that.
All right. So hold a second. I just need to block this user. Okay. What's next?
All right, Brian Esparza. How often do you go to Burbank 16? I live close to it and is usually my main theater to go to, and it would be cool to meet you. Also, hashtag Han had it coming.
Well done, Brian. You get elevated.
It would not be cool to meet you, Brian. You're dead to me forever.
I literally live like a 10-minute walk to the Burbank 16, and I'm there several times a week. And it's always great when we go down there because like every time Ann and I go, it's always great meeting people who watch the show. They always come up to us and we take pictures and talk to people. It's always fun. And it's still really funny because there used to be a day. There was an era, Robert, where people would stop me on the street or in a store or at the movie theater, and Ann would be with me. And people would come up and ask to take a picture with me, right? And Ann thought that was cool. And it made me look cool in Ann's mind, right? Now, she looks at these people as if you don't really know him. He's not worth it. Why are you wasting it? Like, I think she gets a little bit more annoyed by it now than anything else when it happens.
How do you think Ann will feel about the Han situation? What side do you think she's going to fall on?
I don't really think she watches the Fast and Furious movies much, so I don't think she cares. Oh, man. All right, what's next?
Make her care, John.
Me either. Preston Walden. Marvel is a master at marketing. Put on a Spider-Man trailer that raises more questions about Endgame. It's like a BOGO marketing campaign.
Well, you said that yourself yesterday. This is brilliant. There's some people complaining they shouldn't be putting out a Spider-Man trailer. Of course they need to be putting out Spider-Man trailers. And as you put it, it's just raised the awareness levels to the stratosphere.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about it since we saw it.
Yep. It was absolutely brilliant. Genius. Next.
All right. Nicholas Acosta. Ripped with Rob was fun. Thoughts on the bad Troll 2?
Troll 2 is really rough. One of the roughest movies I've ever seen. But it's fun. I mean, you can't not like that movie when you watch it.
All right, what's next?
Eric Saul. According to a possible script leak, the song The Bright Side of Life from the Monty Python could be used in Joker. Could be BS, but it's perfect.
Well, I never pay any attention to supposed script leaks. Never pay attention to them. But yes, the song "Bright Side of Your Life" from Monty Python.
From Meaning of Life.
Monty Python's Meaning of
Life of Brian. Right. Did I say Meaning of Life?
I think so.
Always look on the bright.
Depending on the nature of the film, it sounds like it could be perfect. But again, I don't believe it. I won't believe it until I see it.
It is funny, though.
All right, what's next?
All right, Richard K. Fantastic Four had 4 failed films, so I think the Fantastic Four will get a show on Disney Plus because Marvel won't make money from a movie as the audience has lost faith, but X-Men will go into the MCU.
Here's the thing, Richard. You just kind of defeated your own argument. You do know it costs money to make TV shows, right? Like you do know if they don't believe anybody's going to watch Fantastic Four, why would they make a TV show about it? Why would they spend millions of dollars in making a TV show about it? Look, I think the Fantastic Four, I think there are people hungry for a good Fantastic Four film. And let's face it, look, I didn't think Fantastic Four, the most recent one, was a monumental disaster. Like, I still remember sitting with a couple friends of mine watching it, and the first act was getting near the end of the first act, and me and my friends looking at each other going, this isn't actually all that bad. It wasn't great, but it's like, this is... Then the wheels came off and became a mess. But I mean, I don't know what they have planned, but I just think if they don't believe in the property, if they think the property isn't feasible anymore and isn't viable to succeed, then you're not going to see it on Disney Plus either.
Well, look, I think The Incredibles is as close to a brilliant Fantastic Four film as we've come.
Yes.
And I think if The Incredibles 1 and 2 have shown us anything, it's that it is possible to make a great Fantastic Four film. They just need to figure out the right approach.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Love Incredibles. Mason Barr, 2020, I turned 30 and cannot wait for Ghostbusters 3.
You know, they finally, like, we talked about Ghostbusters yesterday. He said, hey, it sounds like they're going to put it out in 2020. Sure enough, then they dropped this teaser trailer that says coming summer of 2020.
Yeah.
So it's coming. It's official. It's done. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be honest with you, though. I don't know how excited I would be had it not been Jason Reitman attached.
Right.
I think it said, a new Ghostbusters coming 2020. I'd go, okay, let's see how this does. Jason Reitman directing Ghostbusters 2020. You got me. Now I'm on board.
I'm in.
All right, what's next?
Richard Karate, what will be released first, Venom 2 or Aquaman 2 in your opinion? And hashtag Justice for Han all the way. Robert, I'm your campaign manager.
All right, Richard.
I think DC's got a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now. So Aquaman 2 is coming. Make no mistake, it's coming. I think they're a little bit more ahead of the game right now with Venom 2. I think they're already well underway on work on Venom 2. Even if production hasn't started, I think pre-production, all that stuff is already going, even though they don't have a director yet per se,
It's
although
an
they
easier
probably
film to make,
do.
too.
I mean, it depends on your approach, yeah.
The visual effects for Aquaman are just by definition going to make it take longer.
Unless the second one doesn't happen underwater.
That's true.
But but again, I think you and I both agree. We think Venom 2 will probably hit first. All right, what's next?
Derek Large, finally got around to seeing The Shape of Water. What a beautiful film.
Wonderful film. Wonderful film. Well, a couple of parts in it that made me go, oh, come on. There were a couple of those parts. It's still a little weird watching Paddington's adopted mother getting it on with Fishman. That's still a little weird. She was just bumping nasty with the Fishman, and now that was a little bit weird. But still, a gorgeous Michael Shannon, brilliant in it. It's a wonderful film.
I love the film, and it should have been the beginning of Universal's Dark Universe. That's what they should have done.
That was one approach they could have taken. All right, what's next?
Richard K. again. Sorry, John and Robert, last question, I promise, but in your opinion, what is the better trilogy? The Barbershop trilogy with Ice Cube or the Friday trilogy with Ice Cube? Love to hear your thoughts.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question.
I know my answer.
I don't completely love either, so let's go to you. You seem to you're right on.
I liked Friday for sure, I think.
Yeah. I might have to go
Ray
with
saying
Friday.
I think I got to leave Friday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got to say I don't love either one of them, but I think Friday's got a lot more upside.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Alex Perez, is it too expensive to have Batman in a TV show? We've had several Superman shows, but none of the Dark Knight. Greetings from Texas.
I don't see how it's any more expensive to put Batman in than it is to put a shoe salesman in.
You know,
it's a guy in a rubber costume. It's not like he's the thing. So.
But I think they're more protective of Batman because
Yes,
he's
a
been more
valuable
profitable
IP.
more profitable in the movie arena.
But they're loosening up.
Yeah.
They're loosening up the belt.
Titans.
They're talking about the first
Gotham.
Titans. They're talking about him in the Arrowverse thing. You're probably going to see him show up in the Arrowverse. At one point, something that never would have happened. But now it's a probability that's going to happen at some point. So, but expense. Batman is actually one of the least expensive guys you can. Right. It's not like he's the Flash or Supergirl where you got to always have visual effects with him. He's a guy in a suit. There you go. More like an Arrow sort of thing. All right, what's next?
Jack Reacher, if you remember, my adopted sister watched A New Hope and liked it. We saw Empire for the first time Saturday night, and she thought it was really good. Yay.
Yay, indeed. It's not even in my opinion, you still got the best one to go, which is Return of the Jedi. To me, it is the best of the Star Wars movies. I know most people think it's Empire Strikes Back. To me, it's 10, 10A, and 10B. But for me, there's just something about the greatest space battle in history, the greatest scene in all of Star Wars, the Emperor Throne Room in Return of the Jedi. I just love that movie. The George Lucas's juxtaposition against the industrial world versus the natural world when it came to everything going on in Endor. The Jabba's palace stuff. God, I love that movie. I love all of them, though. Empire's brilliant, too. I mean, so much good stuff there. By the way, I was playing Battlefront 2 the other day, and I totally didn't even realize there's an arcade mode version where you can fight on Bespin.
Really?
And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I just ignored the enemies. I was just running around looking at all the different rooms. And then you can find Luke's X-Wing sitting on one of the platforms. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
If you get a chance to look at it, you should. All right, what's next?
Brian Esparza, John Wick 3 looks great. Super hyped. Hope it lives up to it.
I don't see how it can fail.
I don't either.
I don't know. Like, as long as you nail that action and you got this, I think the director's back on board. I don't see how you can fail if you nail that.
I want it to be the Return of the King of John Wick movies.
There you go.
That's what I want.
All right, what's next?
All right, Abel C. Should MCU redo old scenes of Thanos to Avengers Infinity War look?
Oh, so pull a little bit of a George Lucas special edition, update the look of Vader with the helmet on. Pardon me. Nah, I think you leave it alone.
I do too.
It's not like there was a big scene with Thanos in it. It was the end tag trailer on, or the end scene of the original Avengers. You just see him turn his head and grin.
Right.
I don't think so. It's fine. If they did it, I don't think there's any problem with it. But yeah, I don't think you need to do that. All right, what's next?
Baby Boy 8603. Hey John, I'm excited for The Lion King, but kind of disappointed that it will not feature the Be Prepared song. Oh well, there's always the original.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can't expect it to be an absolute 100% line for line, beat for beat remake of the animated thing. There's gonna be some differences and some changes. And so Be Prepared was one of the things that got lost. What I am surprised is that people aren't going, oh my God, we're still getting this song. Everybody's focusing on, we're not getting Be Prepared. Well, you can't have it all in there.
Right. Yeah. And again, what's so strange to me is when you focus on those kinds of things as opposed to what we are getting.
Yes.
And that's, as I always say, we live in wondrous times, kids. We're getting some great stuff.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave. I always get teary-eyed after Gandalf falls in the mines of Mora, and it is because of the score. Do you have similar experiences for other scenes?
Well, there's a lot of great iconic scenes in movies, but I just want to focus in on the one that you're bringing up there. That scene.
Fly, you fools.
Fly, you fools. So and then the way Peter Jackson then goes, silence. The hand goes, the fall.
You know what? It was one of the great scenes in terms of music that gets me teary-eyed, not because I'm sad, is when when Gondor lights the flames and
on the mountaintops, sending the signal.
And you just hear that rising music and you see the flames. That kills me every time. I love that. Talk about Howard Shore's music. My God.
I'll tell you the part that kills me every time. Every single damn time. It's the end of Return of the King. As they're all in Gondor, they've just anointed Strider as the king. And he's walking through, everybody's greeting him and bowing to the new king, and he comes across 4 hobbits. And the hobbits start to bow.
I'm getting chills just as you're saying.
Oh my God, me too.
I'm like
hair standing up on my arm. Hair standing up on my arm. And he comes to 4 hobbits who bow, and the king says, my friends, you bow to no one. And the king of Gondor gets down on his knee, and then the camera goes wide, and all of Middle-earth gets down on their knees in front of these 4 hobbits. We were talking the other day about tears, man tears. That's it right there. It's one of the greatest scenes ever. I love that scene.
You know what? I'm going to go home and watch all 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Just because of that
I'm
one
doing
reference.
I'm doing that.
All right, what's next?
The BA, BBC, CW, Superman is a joke. No Superman on the big screen. And Brian Bendis writing bad Superman stories in the comics. Does DC hate Superman?
Well, I got to admit, I have not read Superman in the comics for a while. So I haven't
read Bendis' run. I want to read it.
Yeah, I haven't read that in a while. All I can say is you guys know my opinion on how they treat Superman in the CW universe. They just crap all over him.
I learned a
all
new
the
word
time.
because of you.
Oh,
because
dear.
Of a jobber.
Oh, you learned the word jobber.
I didn't understand what a jobber was until you told me that Superman on the CW is a jobber.
He's a complete jobber. He's the king of all superheroes, and they crap on him every single chance they get, and I hate them a little bit for that. All right, what's next?
I'm Upset says, whatever happened to Russell Brand?
God, he did get him to the Greek. We're so hot after saving or forgetting Sarah Marshall, which he was brilliant in. Then he played the same character again. And what I think happened was Nobody could see him as anything other than that.
He did Arthur. He did the remake of
That's
Arthur,
right,
one of my
which was-
favorite comedies. But then he's actually become quite. He's a
You're not saying one of
philosopher.
the remake was one of your favorite comedies.
No, I hate
the Dudley Moore.
The Dudley Moore original Arthur
Yes.
is one of my favorite movies, I think, of all time. Actually,
that was an abomination. That remake was an abomination.
Yeah, but now he's become Russell Brand's kind of an interesting figure. Now he's doing a lot of philosophical speaking. He's on YouTube a lot, and he had just had a new comedy special drop on Netflix.
All right, what's next?
Zmog Ruler. Why no reign of Superman in DCEU after Soups dies?
Why would you? No, seriously, the Reign of the Superman, I think, was one of the dumbest things they've ever done. I really do. I think Reign of the Superman was one of the dumbest things you've ever done, and I think the average movie-going audience would dismiss it like that.
Well, plus it's so. I mean, with the the cyborg Superman, the whole Eradicator,
Yeah.
Steel. I mean, they made a
They
Steel
made
movie.
Steel with Shaquille O'Neal, ladies and gentlemen.
They've
They
already
did do
addressed
that.
the reign of the Superman. It didn't go well.
All right, what's next?
Damned Opinions quotes mini cupcakes, as in the mini version of regular cupcakes, which is already a mini version of the cake. Honestly, where does it end with you people?
Oh my God, I can't place that.
I don't know what that is.
I totally, it's so familiar, but I cannot place that. I'm stumped. All right, what's next?
Bullet 1510. Hi, John and Rob. Seen the new Captain Marvel character posters. Oh, you 30%. Goose is a flirkin, and we get to see some cool flirkin powers.
I think over. Look, I'm not going to say 80% or anything like that, but that 30% line, that's a good line to set.
It is a good line.
I'm going to take you. What do you think? Flirkin or not to flirkin?
I think flirkin.
Yeah.
I'm
Now,
flirkin.
do you think just flirkin as in over the 30%, or do you think not? Just in general, I think that's the odd. The odds are like if I said the over/under line was 50%, would you go over or under?
Over.
Okay,
Over.
I don't know if I'd go over on 50.
Maybe not. I
But
don't
on
know.
30, I got to take the over on that. I think that little. What's that?
The mini cupcakes was Kevin from The Office.
Oh, Kevin from The Office. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. All right, but yes, I think we're both going to go flirkin.
Flirkin.
Okay, what's next?
Judy K. Hey, John, why didn't Peter's spider senses go off when Nick Fury was sitting in his hotel room? He wasn't aware of anything until Ned got shot.
I cannot believe how many people on Twitter are asking me this exact same question. I got flooded with this question. Anyway, the simple answer is this. Spidey sense goes off when there's danger.
I completely agree. Nick Fury is not a threat.
He was not a threat. He presented no danger. He had no ill intent. He was going to, for Ned's own good, he was going to put Ned to sleep.
Right.
He didn't hurt Ned. There was no danger, and that's why his Spidey sense didn't go off. There was no threat. All right, what's next?
Brian Esparza, all 4 of Joaquin Phoenix films of 2018 are overlooked.
Well, other than You Were Never Really Here, what else was he in 2018?
You won't get far on foot.
We overlooked them.
What's that?
Was he in You Won't Get Far on Foot?
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
right. He
Yeah.
was. I totally forgot with the dude in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that one. But 4, man, all the movies in past years start to become a big blur. But I'll tell you what, You Were Never Really Here was definitely overlooked. Nobody saw that movie.
I do own it on
nobody-
Blu-ray.
I
though.
did. It was
Dude,
great. I loved it.
It was great, and I thought he won't get. I'm not saying he absolutely should, but you could put him in the conversation for Best Actor. I believe for that.
He was incredible.
Incredible.
And the direction of the movie was amazing too. I can't remember the woman's name.
Lynn Ramsey.
Yes.
Who
Great job.
directed?
Yeah.
We need to talk about, or we have to talk about Kevin.
Kevin, yep.
Sheesh, that's a movie.
All right, what's next?
She's great. I saw her speak. She's super intelligent.
Nice.
Alex Von Gollum. Hi, John and Rob. Imagine if in Endgame, while their surviving Avengers are planning how to undo the snap, Thanos realizes it via mid-stone.
Mind Stone.
Mind Stone, sorry, and shows up before them. It'd be terrifying.
Again, I don't think he has use of the gauntlet or the stones at this point.
Plus, I don't think that they're going to prevent. They can't. The snap happened. You know, they can go back in time and change that, but they can't stop. It happened. Half the universe is gone.
But if you go back in time and prevent him from getting the gauntlet, doesn't that undo it?
I don't know.
But does it just create an alternate timeline?
It did happen. The snap occurred. You know, and whether you're going back in time or not, it still happened in some timeline. Some, you know.
To bring up in reference the great sci-fi masterpiece Galaxy Quest. The end of the film, the villain reveals he was disguised as Tony Shalhoub and starts shooting and killing the cast members. And Tim Allen goes, initiate the What was the name of the device?
The something 13.
Omega 13.
Omega 13.
Activate Omega 13, and nobody knew what it does. It sent him back in time 13 seconds, which gave him time to kill the Tony Shalhoub character. Thus, the guys never died. It's Galaxy Quest logic that actually, I have no idea if they were going to use time travel in Avengers.
But see,
or
if
not.
a character travels through time, it's that character's future.
Yeah.
If you travel through time, you're still aging. You're not your same age. You're your same age when you go back in time. So you're traveling into your future, even though you've gone back in time.
Rob, look, with
Just
my
saying.
extensive experience of time travel, no, we don't know what we're talking about. All right, what's next?
Nathan Oswald, sad that Master of Disguise was financial success.
I don't know why it's sad. Was it a financial success? Turtle. Was it a financial success? I don't remember. I just know the world needs more Dana Carvey. That's all I know. The world needs more Dana.
It does. It does.
So here's hoping with the Bohemian Rhapsody hit, here's hoping we get another Wayne's World
Oh, man,
revisited.
I would love to see another Wayne's World.
I'd be down for that. All right, what's next?
I was Garth for Halloween, so.
Oh, nice.
H-Ray Gaming. Hey, John, I used to watch the show live, but I can't much anymore as I just got in new classes.
Well, that is the wondrous thing about YouTube. The video goes up there, and you can watch it at your convenience. Happy you're able to join us today, though, H-Ray Gaming. It's nice to have you back around here. But yeah, watch us anytime, man. We're just glad you're part of the film fan community with us. All right, what's next?
Murray, who you got for Sunday NFL?
Woo, tough.
Saints.
That Saints-Rams game, that's going to be a hell. Look, my team is the Patriots, but that's the game I'm most interested in. That Saints-Rams game is going to be so good. And you know what? I agree with you. I'm not going to be surprised at all if the Rams win. I live in LA. I'm going to kind of cheer if they do, but I love Drew Brees. I think the Saints are not only going to win, I think they're going to win kind of handily.
Maybe. Here's the thing. I say Saints, but I really, too, want the Rams to win, only because what the Rams have done.
I like both these teams.
What they've done in such a short period of time is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
so
really is.
I'd love to see. I mean, the Saints are not the kind of dynasty the Patriots are, but they're still kind of a dynasty team.
Well, one Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, but in terms of
In 9 years?
I want to see this. I want to see the Rams just take it all.
It would be great. It would be very cool to see. And then, of course, we got my Patriots versus the Chiefs. Patriots already beat the Chiefs this year. And look, I thought San Diego was going to beat my Patriots. I really did. I was super happy that they didn't. If I had to put money on it, I got to say Chiefs beat the Patriots.
I hope so, because any football team that's playing the Patriots is my favorite football team.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Nothing like, but they are the greatest of all time. They are the greatest of all time. I got in this discussion on Twitter. It's like, Patriots are the villains. I'm like, you know what? The conquered always say the conquerors were the villains. But anyway, just say, but yeah, you know what? I'm cheering for the Patriots, but I think Kansas takes it. They're going to be at home this time because when New England beat them, they played in New England.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be playing in Kansas City. That's a great crowd there. Bill Belichick is going to come up, the great emperor, the emperor himself. Good. He will come up with something to make it competitive and close, but I think the Chiefs are going to take it. All right, what's next?
Go Birds forever. All right. I can't think of a good username. Nick Fury is really the chameleon working with Mysterio in Far From Home.
Oh my God, what a twist that would be. I doubt it though.
I love that idea.
Because you'd have to convince me that Maria Hill could be fooled.
Right.
And I don't think Maria Hill would be able to be fooled.
Plus,
oh no, I was thinking something else. But yeah, no, I don't think Maria Hill.
Not everybody knows who Nick Fury is.
Yeah.
He's a shadowy government operative. So.
Yeah, I agree. All right, it's next.
Dakota Walker, did you see the updates to fan film? No more ads.
Oh, yeah, by the way, yes. Great, classy move. I don't know if you saw this by Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm stepped in. And of course, that what's the Warner Music's name again?
Warner Chappell.
Warner Chappell is the company charged with overseeing all the copyrights and music and stuff like that. Lucasfilm, very classy move by Lucasfilm, stepped in and said, look, no, just pull the copyright thing on them. They didn't need to do that, but they did it. I think that was a classy move on their part, and I hope that just paves the way for us to get a sequel to that fan film. So, fingers crossed. All right, what's next?
I can't think of a good username. In 3 years, The Avengers is 10 years old.
Woo! I cannot believe that. That's just crazy.
I mean, look what we got. In 7 years, we'll have 4 films.
I know.
That are stunning.
All right, what's next?
So CM can beat Thanos in time travel? It sounds like they're turning her into a Mary Sue man. What's going on with the Black Widow solo or team-up movie?
Well, we're going to answer one of the two of them. Let's go with the Black Widow. believe it'll be much like, I think, Captain America Winter Soldier, where you had Captain America, it was his movie, but they threw in Black Widow. And then they introduced Falcon and stuff like that. So it's not going to be a true team-up movie, but it will be a Black Widow standalone with one of the other MCU characters along for the ride, much like Iron Man was in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a minor role, but I think somebody else will be there.
I agree. But I really want to see like a very Bond-esque, globe-trotting super spy movie in the MCU.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, I said for a long time, I am neither interested in a Hawkeye or a Black Widow movie. So I'm hoping they can change my mind on that. All right, what's next?
Bellboy Baggins, any news about the Amazon Lord of the Rings show?
None, except that they're plugging along.
Yep,
And I'm
that's
really
it.
excited to see what they're going to do and how they're going to work it out. So as soon as we hear anything else, we'll let you guys know for sure. All right, what's next?
Franklin Donahue, the new Ghostbusters movie came out of nowhere. It got me thinking how hard it is for movie studios to avoid people leaking things and what kind of things they do to prevent it.
Yeah, now granted, it's not like the movie is, by the way, guys, Ghostbusters comes out in June. Like,
Right.
It's not like they did that. The movie's still like a year and a half away, per se. So it's not like they were in production and they get, no. So this wasn't that hard.
And also, look, what people don't understand is movie studios have hundreds of films and projects in various stages of development. It's only when they get scripts that they like and they've got the right people involved that we even hear about them. Most of the movies that are in development never get made, and you never hear about them.
The main thing they do to prevent it, threats. And by threat, I mean, look, when you're working on something sensitive, and I've got to sign these all the time, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. That's basically saying everything I'm about to see, hear, and talk about by working on this project, you are allowed to slice off my dick if I ever mention it to anybody. And I'm pretty sure that's in the contract, by the way.
I was going to say,
But
you've signed a contract that says that?
You can basically destroy my life and sue me till I have nothing left if I mention a word of this. And they signed those to the teeth. You hear the Marvel actors even joke about saying, a guy could be on a talk show and goes, there's probably a sniper in here somewhere ready to
Right.
They ain't joking. There's probably a sniper. Kevin Feige's probably sitting up in the rafters like this at some point. Yeah, it's NDAs. That's the main weapon you have.
It's true.
All right, what's next?
Michael Morgan, Robert, did you know you can pre-order Spider-Verse in 3D from Amazon DE Germany?
See, John? There you go.
Yeah, you
I did not know
have to
that.
order it from Germany to get it.
But
Yes.
that means I still get it.
Yeah.
I still am going to get that.
Yep, a lot of other twisted things you can get out of Germany too. That's all I'm going to say. All right, what's next?
Brian Clark, for everyone who loved the idea but was disappointed by Welcome to Marwen, let me direct you to the 2010 documentary Marwen Cole, which is about the real-life guy. It's fascinating.
I'm with Brian. I watched that documentary. It's really good.
Really?
It's yeah, because that is a real story.
First of all, I never even knew it was based on a true story. I did not
based
know
on a true
that.
story, and it's fascinating.
Really?
It's fascinating. Yeah.
And where does one find this document? Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's on Netflix. I'm not sure.
Hey, Brian Clark, big kudos to you. Thanks for bringing that up because I'm going to go hunt that thing down now. Thank you for putting it on our radar, Brian. All right, what's next? Just a couple more.
Darth Sidious, hi John. What do you make of the rumors that the Young Justice producers are making the new Kid Flash and Blue Beetle gay in YJO? Because I don't believe it.
I don't care. I don't care about Young Justice. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care about any of the Marvel animated stuff. I don't care about any of the DC animated stuff. Television stuff, that is.
Yeah.
I don't care. If they do, great. If they don't, great. I just don't care.
Look, if they're well written and great characters, that's all I really am looking for.
And ultimately, that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, he was just saying, I was wondering if you believe it. And then C-Sax, people, whoop, it jumped.
C-Stacks. Oh, mine jumped too.
I got it. People
Okay.
who say things like, why didn't Aquaman just call Superman, must call their mom whenever they have a problem at work.
But then again, that is the bane. That's been going on forever. That's the bane of the shared cinematic universes. Is every time you do any kind of trying to be a solo movie, you have to come up with a plot device to explain why didn't they just call Thor to come and help? Why didn't you just go get Captain America to come help? Because it's not a fucking Captain America movie. It's a solo movie. There was an Aquaman movie. It wasn't a Superman movie. But you're right. That is the bane of these movies. And those questions are always going to come up.
But if you think about your own real life, I mean, think about the stuff that all happens to you. You're not always on the phone asking for somebody to bail you out.
If your life was in danger, you might.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. You're dealing with the problem as it comes along.
All right. What's next?
All right, Adrian Palermo. Far From Home poster shows passport stamps with the year 2019. Also, all 3 MCU movies this year will make over $4 billion combined.
Well, considering, here's the thing on that. Considering that if it doesn't get it, Endgame is going to get very close to $2 billion, which then leaves you with a couple of movies. And when you say four, we got Endgame, Captain Marvel, the Spider-Man, and what else?
That's it, because Endgame will make $2
Yes,
billion.
it's 3. It's 3. So now that's going to make 2. Now you're hoping that Marvel makes 1 and Spider-Man make 1. That's a tough parlay bet. That's tough to take. I don't know that I'd take that bet. That it hits $4 billion. Maybe like a 3.5.
Like all the MCU movies this year.
The 3
I'll
combined.
take that bet. Let's make a bet.
You think combined?
Yeah, I think combined
It's gonna
the
hit 4.
MCU, those 3 movies are going to make $4 billion or more.
That's a tough one.
I'll
It's
take
tough.
that bet.
I'm
$10.
not. I can't. No, I couldn't put money against it, but I can't put money on it
All right.
either. I think it could be close, but it's a tall order. But it's an interesting wager. It's an interesting wager. Again, I'm not going to bet against it though. All right, what's next?
All right, Nathan Oswald, physical media all the way.
But okay, sure. I guess you like your rotary phones, and I guess you like your AOL dial-up internet. Sure, great example of this. Just a buddy of mine the other day is like, "Oh, I want to watch this movie." Great. Well, he's digging through his shelves. Oh, I can't find it. If you had it on your Google Play Store, you just click and you never have to guess where it is. Gets damaged, people borrow it, all that kind of stuff. Digital media.
I just want to
physical
point
media is the
out, I
past.
spent 3 years of my life in the early part of this decade working on Star Trek: The Next Generation special features, none of which you can get digitally. You have to get the box set of Star Trek: The Next Generation to
eventually
see
you'll be able to
my
get it.
documentaries.
Yeah, I don't think
50 hours.
I don't think physical media is dead yet.
No,
I don't
it's
think
not
it's
dead
dead yet. It's dead to me. I don't buy physical media anymore, but I certainly don't think it's dead yet. But eventually, all that stuff is going to be.
I agree. I did a Rob Innovations talk about that. Physical media is on the way out, but I love it.
Okay. So we only got a couple questions left. Okay. Rapid fire. I know we've gone really overtime today, guys. Let's go rapid fire and get through the guys. By the way, please do not send in any more questions. Don't send in any more questions. Let's get through these last ones rapid fire.
All right, Jeff Fortner, X-Men is my all-time favorite superhero team. Would love to see Disney let them stay in their own universe. I just want a hard reboot, damn it.
Jeff, you're doing the Lord's work, my friend. I absolutely want Marvel not to bring X-Men into the MCU. The MCU is already kind of overcrowded. Like, you could really feel the weight of it in Infinity War. And they navigated it great, but you can feel the weight of it. Let the X-Men be in their own universe. It's not going to happen. X-Men will be in the MCU. I know that. But I would still hope that they get their own universe. You're Kevin Feige right now. Do you put them in the MCU? Do you give them their own cinematic universe?
You know what I would do? I would do the House of M storyline. I'd have Scarlet Witch go crazy, change reality, and that's how you get mutants in the MCU.
All right, what's next?
All right, Daniel Luna. Hi, John. Love your show. Have one question. How come Peter didn't get his spider sense when Fury was waiting for him?
Fantastic question. We've addressed it, but you probably already heard that by now. All right, what's next?
Darth Sidious, did the death of Superman happen between season 2 and season 3 because we have now got Steel in Young Justice?
Again, I don't care about Young Justice, so I
But
don't watch
probably because Steel is a direct result of the Reign of the Superman storyline.
it. Right,
So-
in the comics at any
In the
rate, yeah.
comics.
All right, what's next?
Marcus Robert Johnson, I completely agree about the runtime on John Wick. Loved the first, never finished the second, was too much.
Yeah, I just think for a lot of audience members, you got to keep up. You got to have pace, and length is a part of pace, and I think it can get tired. But again, like you're saying, if they spend a lot of that time world building,
Yeah.
add those other elements, we're going to have to wait and see. But if they go that direction, it can totally work. If they're going for a John Wick 1 kind of feel, I think they need to tighten it up a little bit. All right, what's next?
Sterling Reviews, I love John Wick, but man, the Raid movies are in another class. The final fight in Raid 2 is jaw-dropping.
Absolutely. So good.
I don't know that I'd say it's in another class. I think you can make an argument that the action in Raid 2 is a bit better than the action in John. I like the story and the world building in the John Wick films much better though. I like the story building,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
world building.
different kinds of movies, but you know, the Rad 2 even radder is so cool.
It's excellent. The action is just stupid, wonderful. All right, what's next?
All right, Mr. Hero 17, what's your ideal casting for the Fantastic Four in the MCU? Rumors John Krasinski is being looked at for Reed Richards.
You guys know me. I don't address which actor should play role A.
Right. Although I do think
my
he'd
answer's
be-
always the same. If it's a good actor, I'll give it a shot.
I think he'd be a great Reed Richards.
I think he'd be great anything.
Yeah.
All right.
He was a great Jack Ryan.
He's the best.
I still haven't watched Jack Ryan. I got to watch Jack
Pretty
Ryan
good.
with him. I'm very
I
excited
liked
about
it.
that. All right, what's next?
Love him. Mr. Hero 17, do you think Far From Home will top Spider-Verse?
Well, there's two ways you can answer that question. Financially, in its sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe in its first 2 weekends it'll top. Will it be better? I don't know. But let's be honest. It doesn't need to be better than Spider-Verse. It doesn't need to be better than Spider-Verse because you can be 70% as good as Spider-Verse and still be an awesome movie. I don't know. That's a tall order.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Verse, to me, was my number 3 best movie of the year. Not number 3 best comic book movie. It was the number 3 best movie of the year to me. I love that movie. I'm going to guess no. I don't think it'll be as good as Into the Spider-Verse. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yep,
You agree?
I agree.
All right. What's next?
Snip. I just pre-ordered my first hot toy. It's Alice Cooper. I couldn't resist. Also, Robert, are you looking forward to the reign of the Superman movie?
You know what? I want to see the death of Superman and the reign of Superman animated films. I like the DC animated movies. I'll watch them.
Yeah, I tend to skip all the Marvel and other than the Spider-Verse. I tend to skip most of them. So
Well, I
don't-
just like that comic book story when it came out. I have the big omnibus that has the death of Superman and the reign of the Superman. It's a fun story.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't even know there was an Alice Cooper hot toy.
I didn't either,
That's
to
awesome.
be honest.
That's awesome. Good on you for getting that, man. All right, last 2 questions.
Hey, Cal Kills. Hey, John, thanks for your many discussions about the Sneakers film. I've now added it to my digital collection through Amazon Prime Video for a steal.
Such a treasure, Sneakers.
You know, it's funny. I recently rewatched that.
Oh, really?
It was like I think it's on Netflix now. I was skipping through. I love that movie. What a cast.
Oh, it's amazing.
What a cast in that movie.
And I love that River Phoenix and James Earl Jones at the end. I want world peace. We're the U.S. government. We don't do that. It's a brilliant, wonderful film. Robert Redford at his best. Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
River Phoenix. Sir Ben Kingsley. Wonderful film. All right. Final question of the day.
All right, Bike Man, Keanu Reeves versus Tom Cruise. Make this happen, please.
Well, it depends on what the characters are. Like, you want to put Keanu Reeves in as a villain in Mission Impossible 7 or 8? Or is it 7 or 8 or 8 or 9? 7 and 8.
It's 7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8. You want to put him as a villain? Yeah, go for it. But you want to make it John Wick versus Ethan Hunt.
Well, I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for not necessarily that particular team up, but when one franchise versus another friend, like if they could work out that studio deal.
But then you always know then you know how it ends.
Well,
A draw.
yeah, it's gonna end.
Whenever they do that, they'll always make it a draw.
You know, I'd really just like to see Han come back and kick John Wick's ass.
Maybe carrying his old DVD collection along as he comes. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, guys. That will do it for today's long version of the John Campea Show. But hey, we got through all the episodes, all the stuff today. Thank you for being here and being a part of the show. I want to thank, of course, the one, the only, the great Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, where can people find you online?
Well, you can find me on my Twitter feed at BurnettRM. Find me on Instagram at RMBurnett, or look me up on my YouTube channel, The Burnettwork, or find me on theburnettwork.net, one word, on the internet.
The equally awesome Ashley Whalen. Ashley, where can people find you?
All right, you can find me on Instagram at Ashley Whalen. It's ASHLEYYWHELAN. And I'm also on Twitter at AshAttack1.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter simply at John Campea, both places. Thanks to Fact Checker Jonathan. Thanks to Ray, and a special thank you to you guys. Not only would this show not happen without you, there's really no point in doing this show without you, because we love getting together with our fellow film fans and talking about all this stuff we love. Thanks again for being here, guys. The John Campea Show returns again tomorrow. And until then, bye-bye.